The other big story is the municipal elections. North Texas hitting the polls today, and now we're getting the results in. First up, a possible big win for Dallas's $1.2 billion bond package. As of right now, voters seeming to go for all 10 propositions. That includes $521 million for street and transportation upgrades. Also, $345 million to maintain and expand Dallas parks, trails, and rec centers. And even Proposition F, the public safety measure, would provide some $50 million for a new police training center, which is, of course, something several activist groups spoke out against in previous months. Also tonight, our Olivia Leach is live from Reunion Tower at a watch party put on by Dallas city leaders. And Olivia, what's the feeling out there right now?
Well, Amelia, the mood in this room has really been celebratory all night, and they declared victory pretty early in the night, only about an hour after polls closed here across the city of Dallas. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson, in his victory speech, really saying that voters' overwhelming approval of all of those propositions that were a part of that massive bond package just shows that Dallas is a can-do city. The room was filled with Dallas politicians, community advocates, and residents, all here in support of that $1.25 billion bond package that Mayor Johnson has pushed for. His main priorities, what he calls the 3 Ps: potholes, parks, and public safety. The voters said yes to Prop A, $521 million for improvements to streets and transportation. Voters also approved $345 million for parks, recreation centers, and trails. Prop F, which faced some opposition, also passed, which sends $90 million to public safety, including $50 million for a new law enforcement training center. Housing advocates also celebrating a win on Props G, H, and I, which total almost $120 million that will go toward economic development, affordable housing, and homelessness. Mayor Johnson says now it's time for the city council to invest the voters' tax dollars wisely.
I'm really excited because this is a necessary investment in our city. Whenever you borrow money, you have some concern about taking on debt. When you borrow money to get a mortgage for a house or to get a car, whenever you sign on that dotted line, there's always a little bit of nervousness about putting yourself on the line for that money. But you do that because you know that you need that car to make a living, or you need that house to provide shelter for your family. It's very similar in city finances. We'd love to be able to pay for everything we need to do out of current income, but we can't do that without overburdening our taxpayers from year to year. So we have to occasionally go to the taxpayers and ask them to borrow some money to be able to make the significant investments we need in our streets and infrastructure. That was our top priority, is to fund improving our streets and infrastructure. And then we also wanted to make sure we invested in our park system, so we have parks and recreation centers for all of the children and families that are moving to the city and who live here. And of course, we also wanted to invest in a police academy, a new one, so we can improve public safety in our city, and our libraries and several other things. So this is a very important investment in our city, and I'm so glad it's passed so overwhelmingly. That lets me know that the taxpayers understand what we were doing.
Now, Mayor Johnson also encourages Dallas residents to now reach out to their city council members. Let them know your priorities that you want to see them invest all these funds in. Amelia?
Thanks for the update, Olivia. Big night tonight in Dallas. Appreciate the update. Also, meantime, in Fort Worth, $10 million in renovations could be coming to the city's convention center. 15% reporting, and about 70% of voters have greenlit a 2% hotel occupancy tax hike. Fort Worth saying that additional revenue will fund the planned upgrades. But not so good news over in Irving. Their proposal for a $200 million City Hall complex failing by a good 2,000 votes. It would have meant a property tax increase for residents. Finally, over in Frisco, firefighters were pushing for new rules on staffing and collective bargaining rights with the city over things like pay and working conditions. Right now, neither of those props do not appear to be passing. And there were plenty of school board races and bonds in today's elections. We're also posting all of those results for you as we get them in on CBSNewsTexas.com.